Daire, World Cup's over, man.
I know, it's a sad time for us all.
Like, what are we going to do? I mean, there's no football. What am I supposed to do?
I don't know.
I mean, did you even notice that the Wimbledon happened?
No.
Apparently it went ahead even though the World Cup was on.
Yeah, I don't know what the BBC were thinking. Well, not even the BBC, but anyone putting that on at that time.
Oh well.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't
kind
think
of, it shows you where football versus tennis is in the public opinion. That a lot of people didn't realise Wimbledon happened.
Yeah. The thing is, Wimbledon's year round. The World Cup's only every 4 years, and now we have to wait more than 4 years now. The fact that it's a Winter World Cup.
Can't wait for that.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so we should probably talk about why you're here instead of Will. No, so yeah, Will is obviously still off.
Yeah.
As we mentioned in the previous podcast, he's had a bundle of joy join him in his home, so he's taken some I don't want to call it well earned. He didn't do loads. He's taking time.
He's taking time. That's all we'll put it at. But congratulations, Will.
And so for the time being, it's going to be you and James going to be swapping in and out for these rotating subs. Rotating subs, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get them all. We'll get the gang together for one big one.
We miss you, Will.
Starts. Yeah, you miss him. All right, so the World Cup final happened. I'm as depressed as fuck because I wasn't happy with the final.
Yeah.
It was. We're now in a VAR World Cup and the ref is still getting decisions wrong, and it's not VAR's fault. VAR shows them the replay from all the angles. It just kind of actually VAR almost exposes a bad ref.
Yeah. The thing was, VAR. I'm trying to think in the knockouts. Was it used that? Was there any huge decision quarterfinal semi that it picked up a big decision? It was more the group stages. I found there was no real penalty shouts or real.
No, there wasn't a lot of controversy in any of those games.
It was sad that like the ref just couldn't decide himself. That he kind of had to look and see it, but he did. He ran to it. He ran away, and then he looked at the camera again, and he made that fateful decision. It's not for me. It's not like we'll get to the penalty. Yeah, but the first one, I thought. The dive, could no one not look at that and go, that's a dive, ref? Yeah,
I thought that was the point of VAR, to eliminate referees giving away free kicks that lead to goals that aren't free kicks.
Yeah, at the time I thought it was a free kick, but then you look at the replay and Griezmann's just completely sold himself to the ref, and
that saying like. Someone bought a free kick. Yeah. Well, he didn't even buy that free kick. He stole that free kick.
He stole it, yeah.
He stole that one. That was.
I like Griezmann, but I lost a lot of respect for him after that.
Well, in fairness, like everybody does it now, and Harry Kane does it. But what Harry Kane tends to do is he tends to sort of almost looks like he's taking a bad touch. Yeah. To give the defender sort of that temptation to put his foot in, and then Kane will kind of like take the hit and then he'll go down really quickly, and it definitely looks more of a free than Griezmann, what Griezmann would do, but he's very good at that, sucking a defender in to get a foul. Definitely. And it's everyone does it, even like people that you wouldn't think do it.
Speaking of, David, was there any yellow cards given for simulation in this World Cup? I think
not one that I can think. Wait, actually,
because I can't think of Neymar getting one. I know there was a lot. There was some dives. The ref just said get up, but I don't remember him ever giving a yellow card for simulation. Not him himself, but
I think I remember one in a game, but I can't remember what it was. Was it possibly in the Colombia-England game, which was a very messy game?
Yeah, sure. That was. We'll just call that a write-off. The amount of yellow cards that was in that was too much to count. There was no battle in Nuremberg, but We'll never have one of those again.
Let's not talk about that. So, the first free kick that leads to the Mandzukic own goal is not a free kick, but what can you do? Mandzukic, maybe he should have got a better header on that, but it is hard when everybody's jumping. And the one thing about VAR's kind of eliminated the amount of holding in the box.
Yeah.
So now it's literally a contest of who can get their head in the ball first.
Yeah, that's it.
And it puts a little bit more pressure in the defence.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the thing that's been happening. There's been quite a few own goals like that because you can't. Mandzukic can't just pull his man down at the edge of the box and pretend they were tangling.
Yeah.
So everyone has to go for it, and that's what happens.
That's one of the main reasons why there's been so many set piece goals. At the start there was a lot of penalties, and then the ref said, you just need to cut this out, and then it led to a lot of set piece goals. Yeah,
people kind of copped on eventually.
Yeah.
So Perisic then equalises with, I suppose technically a goal from a set piece, but that volley was brilliant.
Oh, it was a brilliant goal, just right in the bottom. The keeper's left hand corner was brilliant. Perisic, I thought, had a great tournament. He's not going to be one of these breakout stars because he's had a good World Cup. Not that he's had a good World Cup. He's been a good player leading into the World Cup. He's done bits for Inter Milan. He was linked with United all last summer, but he was kind of.
You wonder, is he actually that linked, or is
At the time it did seem like it was near concrete, but at the same time United's linked with everyone.
United do get linked with just about everyone. It just really depends what newspaper you read.
Yeah.
So they scored that goal. It was a brilliant goal. The technique to hit that across the keeper and to score, it was a brilliant finish.
I did actually get up and cheered for Croatia at that time. I was kind of hoping that they would get something. I thought this was it was going to be a change in the guard, that Croatia might win it, but then was the penalty where Perisic turned from the hero to the villain.
Okay, I'll let you talk. Was, in your mind, did Perisic hand the ball, or did it just hit him?
You see, I think it was Umtiti that jumped before him, and it was very late for him to see. His hand is not in an unnatural position. It's right there, but I think the fact that he jumps, and his leg is extended out, it kind of makes his body bigger. I can see why the ref would have given it, but at the same time, for a World Cup final, I thought it was very harsh to be given.
Well, let me bring you to the unnatural position nonsense. This unnatural position, like, how in any position is your arm in an unnatural position if it's still attached to your body?
Yeah,
like if it's if it's twisting on the other side,
if it's completely dislocated,
that's an unnatural position. Like so what I saw was a guy jumping for a header, and as he's coming back down, his hand comes back down, and he's got like 0.1 of a second between the ball going over. Was it Umtiti's head?
I think it was Umtiti that was in front of him.
He's got like less than a second to see that ball.
Yeah.
And if he's able to process what's happening and then put his hand in the way of it, that's some pretty quick reflexes. But like, I just don't see how the referee gave that. Like the ref doesn't take into account how close Umtiti is and how quickly that ball is moving. He's looking at super slow motion, and all he sees is a hand moving towards the ball. But he forgets that he's coming down from a jump, and that the ball is flashed at him from. He doesn't see the. I just don't think it was a penalty. I think it's a terrible decision. I think one of the only penalties I've ever seen given about unnatural position was one Piqué gave away. Oh, Piqué's jumping up in the air, and as he comes back down, he puts his arm back up in the air, like he's waving to someone.
The game against Russia, was it?
And he hands the ball, and I'm like, that's obviously a penalty.
Yeah.
that one was so obvious, and if that's what they mean by an unnatural position, because he's coming back down, but one of his arms is going back up, then you're going, well, okay, that makes sense. But
that's what I would define as an unnatural position.
The unnatural position of the ball, of his hands coming down as he's falling, like his hands are at his side. Your hands are always at your side. Mm-hmm. They're always at your side. Yeah.
And how are you going to jump for a corner with your hands behind your back, as if when you're?
It's stupid. I don't like it. I didn't like it. It's like I said, I love the World Cup, and it's been the final being such a mess over those two decisions.
Yeah,
really pissed me off.
Yeah.
It really pissed me off. And just as an example of how much that affected the game, at half time France had one shot on target.
Yeah.
But were 2-1 up.
Yeah. That's.
And the one shot on target was Griezmann's penalty.
Yeah.
They had no shots on target apart from Griezmann hitting the ball at the back of the net. Like that's how much Croatia were the better team in the first half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, possession wise as well, they were great. But then the second half came and.
Well, like France are masters at defending a lead that like they kept Belgium at bay. Their coach Deschamps clearly built the team in his image.
Yeah. It
was such a hard working team, so defensively solid. Like a lot of people complained a little bit about him being a little bit over defensive. I talked about they could be doing so much more with that team.
Mm-hmm.
And that's almost kind of scary that they could have actually played a whole lot better.
Yeah.
Yet they still won the whole thing.
Yeah. I think the thing is about France, out of all the big teams, they were consistent. I'm trying to think now. They won the game against Australia. Every team has first game like kind of rustiness. Second game was it against Peru. They won that. It was 1-0. Peru were a decent side. They didn't deserve to go out in the group stages, I thought. But then
it was very much like that. They played kind of well, France, but once they got that first goal, they shut up shop.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah, but then in the knockout stages, I think the true France came out, and from the midfield, the defence, everywhere there was players in every position that that really showed their class. Players like Varane, Pogba, who's heavily criticised. He had a good tournament, and that's not the biased Man United fan in me.
No. Now that you've brought Pogba up, I've thought of this the whole tournament. I thought in the game against Argentina, I really enjoyed the way Pogba played, the way he was spraying the ball around.
Yeah.
Some of their goals came from him putting the fullbacks into those gaps, and their fullbacks had a great game that day. And I think a lot of that's down to his passing ability.
Yeah.
And obviously, people were saying that he looks better next to Kante. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think Pogba always plays like this.
Yeah.
But I think the reason that he doesn't get the recognition at Man United is because Man United had an up and down season.
Yeah.
So the idea is that if Man United don't do well, people look at their 90 million centre midfielder and go, well, what did you do?
Yeah.
Even though he's playing the same kind of role in the same kind of system at Man United, and he's doing the things, he's sitting there, he's looking to pick up the ball, he's playing passes, he's not, he's showing discipline, and a lot of the time people look at that and think he's doing nothing if Man United doesn't win a game.
Yeah.
But the fact that France won every game,
yeah,
they go, oh, well, Pogba looks brilliant, and now suddenly he's this mature midfielder that's dominating midfield. For me, he looks almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
The only time I would say Pogba looked truly awful to me was the Sevilla game, but I think the Sevilla game is such an outlier because it was like, at that time, Mourinho was so against possession football that when Pogba came on and tried to play football, no one was playing football, and he was like passing the ball to empty spaces, but it's kind of like no one was expecting him to pass the ball to them because at the time Mourinho was very much like, well, we're not passing the ball, we're just hitting it. Like it's sort of weird. Like if you don't practice possession football,
it's not going to work.
Your teammates don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
you can't pass it to them because they don't know you're going to pass them. They assume you're going to do something else with it.
Yeah,
and so I think with the French team, everyone knew what the plan was. Everyone knew what was going on. They're well drilled. But the fact that they're winning games, and Kante is definitely helped for him.
Yeah.
But I think he plays very similar to the way he played for Man United, and it's his passing ability shone more in this. I think just because they're winning.
Yeah. And there was players that could run on the shoulder like Mbappe and like the fullbacks as well, like I said, Pavard, Lucas Hernandez.
Well, the funny thing is the two games where he stood out the most, Argentina and Croatia, two teams that attacked France.
Yeah.
And France were able to use guys like Mbappe on the break.
On the counter.
And that's what you have players like Pogba for to hit guys like Mbappe. But if you're Man United, most of the teams you're going to face all season are not going to attack you. They're all going to sit back. Like when Man United plays 80% of the teams they play in England, they're all sitting back. So there's really no chance for the quick guys Man United have to play on the counter attack because, well, they're there's no one to counter attack. They're sitting back.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of probably been hard for him. But I just think that he's always played at this level. People just don't recognise it because Man United don't always win, whereas France have been winning all tournament. And it's kind of like wins change your perspective in a performance.
Yeah. But I'm sure people will be criticising now.
Like for example, just take this. Croatia conceded 4 goals in this game.
Yeah.
But was their defending that bad?
Not overly.
Like one-on-ones and getting tackles in and winning headers, they seem to do just fine.
Yeah.
But they somehow conceded 4 goals.
Yeah, the first two goals were we've discussed it already. The first 2 goals were one was just an own goal. They could have really done nothing about that, and then the other one a penalty decision, which was seen as harsh, and I do think that the penalty was the
killer.
The killer, yeah, and it led on to the.
I think as well, like we the Croatian players made a big some big deal out of the fact that the English media thought they'd be tired of the England game, and they went out to show them they wouldn't. But at the same time, 3 back-to-back 120 minutes. I think it caught up on them finally.
It's effectively an extra game.
It was, and in the second half there was, once that third goal then from Pogba too, you could see the heads dropping. Now, just on the third Pogba goal, I think the goalkeeper's unsighted definitely, because the ball comes back to him quickly and he's got 2 men in front of him, the keeper, and Pogba just bends around him. But even then, does it look like Subasic is injured?
There was a lot of question going into it because he did. Was it the quarter final that he injured himself? That he injured his groin, and they had the keeper ready to go.
Game. Yeah.
The Russia game, sorry.
I thought he pulled his hamstring because he was holding the back of his thigh.
Yeah, because he caught a ball, came down the wrong way, and the sub keeper ready to go, but he just said no, jog on, son.
He got treatment for a long time, and I don't know how he was there.
He didn't look 100%, and Subasic he's a good keeper, plays for Monaco, but. It wasn't that he made mistakes. I just do think it was down to unfitness and just stretching.
Well, those last 2 goals, both Pogba and Mbappe, they're not right in the corner.
No,
they're
stoppable.
They're close enough to him, and he just looks like he can't jump to that side. He just he could jump, but he just. Even in the England game when he conceded the free kick, he looked like he didn't want to jump.
Yeah,
like he looked like he was like just. Maybe the coach decided a sort of a 60% Subasic is better than the other keepers, which is a bad thing to say about those other keepers, but still. I mean, I'm just going to read some of these stats out to you. So if I was to tell you, one team had 14 shots, the other team had 7 shots. One team had 66% possession to 34% possession. One completed 528 passes to the other's 289, and one had an 83% passing accuracy compared to 68% passing accuracy. Which team do you think won?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
But in football, there's only one stat that matters. I know those stats are very 9 out of 10 games. If you had stats like that, you would win. And fair play to Croatia, they did show up. But
now here's a stat of France's 7 shots, 6 were on target. Only 4 of the 14 Croatia had were on target.
Yeah, it's just being clinical. Just that
that's their clinical.
Yeah.
So.
What goal were we on? The Pogba goal, was it?
We just finished talking about Pogba's performance and his goal and the keeper not being ready, and then Mbappe scores the 4th. I
don't want to blow too much smoke up Pogba's arse like I was earlier, but. The pass that he plays to Mbappe just before it comes back to him was a great pass as well. One of the best ones of the tournament, I thought.
If I show you Jordan Henderson doing the same thing, because I have a video of that.
Well, I can't remember what it was, but I'll watch it and then I'll.
It's not from the World Cup.
Yeah, I was thinking anyway, because all Jordan Henderson he's been ridiculed the whole tournament. He hasn't. Yeah.
Well, you see, it's funny. It depends who you talk to. Some people think he was excellent. He was solid. He did what he was supposed to do. Some people hate him, and you know what? The people who hate him are never going to not hate him.
Yeah.
But like I've said from the start, he's a functional player. He's not a player I would build a game plan around, though.
Do you think he'll start for Liverpool?
He will.
ahead of Fabinho, or how do you think that system?
Depends who's fit come the start of the season.
Yeah, I suppose.
Neither might play.
Yeah.
Because they remember right now, according to what I've heard, Keita is fully fit. James Milner looks like he's in unbelievable condition for a man who must be 33. I think he's 33 now.
Yeah.
He's outrunning everyone in the pre-season drills. They showed one of them on Liverpool's YouTube channel. Milner's still outrunning people, and also Gini Wijnaldum is back and fully fit. So that's your three centre midfielders.
Yeah.
I think and Milner's been playing as a holding midfielder in the pre-season games.
Yeah.
And Keita slightly ahead of him. So Keita's like almost taking Milner's role, where Milner was kind of that left-sided central midfielder last season. Keita has been playing that in pre-season ahead with Milner as the holding midfielder.
Yeah.
And Fabinho's played a few, but Fabinho looks like he's just not used to the system.
Yeah.
Keita kind of looks like he's just sort of fallen into it perfectly. From the few bits in pre-season we've seen of them.
Yeah, Keita does looks a good signing anyway. 50 million's a lot, but then again in this market, it might be seen as a bargain.
Mbappe, what's your thoughts on his goal? Again, do you think the goalkeeper could have at least jumped for it?
I think, I'm trying to remember the goal now, but I think he thought Mbappe was going to shoot to the left of him, so he was standing in the wrong position.
Yeah, because he does shift it to his right and then pulls it back.
And that's why it looks like that the keeper could have done better. It was just his position was terrible for it. But Mbappe's goal was good because if you can see like the slow-mo replays, just the position of his body, the way he changes it and just hits it right into the keeper's right hand corner. It was a lovely goal, and it was effectively game over then. 4-1 France.
Mm-hmm. But then Mandzukic popped up with a stunning goal.
Forget Pavard, forget Nacho. This is the goal of the tournament.
This is the goal of the tournament as voted by Loris Karius.
Yeah. You can't spell Lloris without Loris. Just remember that.
Oh man, at least Karius could go on. Has provable medical fact he had a concussion.
Yeah, Lloris had no excuse at all. But when he did that, like before the tournament, Lloris had a few clangers for Spurs anyway, and he actually had a solid tournament. And I think whatever chance he had of winning the Golden Glove, I don't know if that was decided before the game. I think that effectively ruined it.
Well, no, Courtois was
very good. He had 27 shots. I think he made 27 saves or 27 shots faced at him. I'm not sure what the stat was, but the stats did look good.
I saw the FIFA team of the tournament.
I seen it too.
And I want to pull it up here.
Yeah, because
I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna pull up the real one.
I think it's been a question a few people have asked me before. After the World Cup, who was the team of the tournament, and
it would seem some fake squads went out there. I saw one where Karius was the centre half, Lloris. Hugo Lloris was the goalkeeper, and Neymar was in the left wing, and I was like, no way.
There is a lot of teams. There is one person in there I know that a lot of people give out about. I don't think he should be out there either.
Well, funny enough, was it Dejan Lovren?
Nope. The person to the left of him is who I didn't really agree with.
Ashley Young.
Fair enough, he had some good crosses and some set pieces, but
I don't think so. So Sky put up a team of the tournament got you to pick a team of the tournament.
Yeah.
And I went with Courtois, right back Vrsaljko from Croatia, who's been far better than any other right backs.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, Trippier scored a free kick. He's got a good delivery, but he's been playing a position that England have set up to sort of get the best out of their wing backs.
Yeah.
And I just think Vrsaljko has had the entire right flank to cover for Croatia.
Yeah.
And did it when he was supposedly injured against England. And he was the one who hits the cross into Perisic for the equaliser.
I think one thing about the teams as well, that the left back, I found it very hard to pick a left back. You could almost put two right backs on the team, one on the right and one on the left.
If you wanted to do that, you could pick Munir from Belgium. I thought he was brilliant.
Yeah, he He covered so much ground. The Brazil game, he
was everywhere.
Everywhere.
Because the way they played that was kind of weird. It was like 3 at the back when they were attacking and 4 at the back when they're defending. So he dropped in at right back when they're defending, but then when they were attacking, he was right up in the right wing. Like he was so far up the pitch.
Munier, he epitomises a wing back, even though Roberto Martinez thinks every single feckin' player is a wing back. He on the right side for Belgium, he was grand, but then on the left side for Belgium, they tried Carrasco, they tried Chadley.
Yeah, but let's just sort of go to the team of the tournament.
Yeah, sorry, I'm ranting here.
For me, when I was picking on the Skies one, I obviously went for Raphael Varane. It's one of the centre halves.
Agreed.
And I was gonna go with Yerry Mina, but just for some trolling, I put in Dejan Lovren.
Yeah,
like Lovren did alright, but for me, Yerry Mina and Varane were the 2 most impressive centre halves. If only for the fact that Mina is so good from set pieces. He's so good at heading them away, and he's so good at heading them in the net. You know, was he Colombia's top scorer?
Yeah, 3 goals.
3 goals. So
this is ahead of James Rodriguez and Falcao.
You know, that's a guy who can't get in the Barcelona team, and supposedly Liverpool were interested in him before the start of the World Cup, and Barcelona are seemingly happy to get slightly more than the 20 million they paid for him a year ago, and are going to sell him. There's talk that he might be at Everton, and I'm just going, somebody should pick him up. He is a far better centre half than people realise.
I think I would have. Like, I do agree 100% with Varane. Varane was
not much doubt. Is Varane the best centre half out there at the minute?
Yeah, and he's only 25 as well. Well, 25 could be 26. I'm not great with players' ages.
Like I always assume that if a centre half goes to Real Madrid, like Ramos and Pepe, they're going to become dicks. But Varane doesn't seem to even be a dick. He's even broken my hatred of Real Madrid to just go, yeah, he's quality.
I agree. I agree with Varane. I think one centre back, I think when I was asked anyway, was Toby Alderweireld that I would have had. I thought he had a great tournament. Considering he hasn't had much game time for Spurs, him and Vertonghen. When you think like how he did when he came back to fitness, why he didn't throw. Fair enough, Davinson Sanchez was good, but the partnership him and Vertonghen have is great. Like
Davinson Sanchez is a little overrated in my view. I think he's super talented.
Very young as well.
He is very young. Yeah. He's super talented, but he's very young. Yerry Mina didn't play the first game for Colombia, and a few minutes into the first game, they get a man sent off, and it was the other Sanchez, Carlos Sanchez, the midfielder. But if you watch it, it's because Davinson Sanchez completely fucks up a clearance, and a man gets through, and Carlos Sanchez drops back, and he ends up handing the ball in front of the goals.
Yeah.
To stop a. Was Japan were playing, wasn't it? To stop the Japanese, and he gets sent off because it's he used his hand to stop the ball, and they score a penalty. Yerry Mina only comes back into the team in the next game, and he immediately keeps I think a couple of clean sheets. I think they kept 3 clean sheets and 3 goals he got in the 3 games he played.
Yeah.
Like that's like was it 3 or 4? No, 3 games because they lost the round of 16 game to England.
Yeah.
But they and the England game finished 1-1. So he had 2 clean sheets, 3 goals in the 3 games he played. And like he showed that when I read about Yerry Mina, he and Davinson Sanchez came through at the same time. I think he's a little bit older, but he was the higher rated of the 2 back in Colombia.
Yeah.
It just so happens that he went to Brazilian football, Sanchez went to Europe. So Sanchez he's been the more visible one of the 2.
Yeah.
Eventually, Mina ends up at Barcelona. Doesn't get much game time. The only game he does play is the game where the entire Barcelona team didn't turn up against Levante and they conceded like 5 goals.
Oh yeah.
And everyone was like, "Well, obviously Yerry Mina shit," but that's he didn't get much of a chance.
Yeah.
But he has shown how good he is at this World Cup.
Yeah.
And I think whoever gets him could be getting a steal.
Yeah, definitely. Barcelona will definitely want to. Will definitely want to double their money at least. I think they'll be bound for. What was it you were saying?
20 million, but apparently they're happy to take like 25.
That could be a bargain in today's market.
They've already gone out and bought Lenglet. Is it Lenglet? Yeah, Lenglet.
Lenglet with the worst announcement video of all time, may I add. That was terrible.
I don't even watch those.
Yeah. I don't either, but this one took the biscuit.
Lenglet from Sevilla, also known as the dominator of Lukaku. No, just kidding. He does look like he's going to be a kind of Barcelona style centre half, but that problem I have is he's a left-sided French centre half. So what are Barcelona doing with their current left-footed French centre half Umtiti? Is he also for sale? I mean, I know unless Lenglet and him are just going to swap around and who as the partner for PK.
Yeah, I'd say PK will be he'll be glued into the squad anyway because he's PK.
And so supposedly it's either Vermaelen or Mina that's going to go, and they said it's probably going to be Mina because I don't think anyone's going to spend any money on Vermaelen.
It's mad that Vermaelen's still at Barcelona.
Is it that mad?
Well, like at the time he was good for Arsenal, but how has he not got on a free transfer to someone at this rate?
His career has been badly damaged with injury.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny? Vermaelen was at Ajax at the same time as Vertonghen.
Mm-hmm.
And so Vermaelen was sort of the senior of the two.
Yeah.
So you had the two Belgian left-footed centre-halves.
Yeah.
And what used to happen was that Vermaelen would play centre-half and Vertonghen would either play in midfield or left-back.
Yeah.
And I used to watch this going, like, Vertonghen is far better.
Yeah.
And there was a time when Vermaelen was really good, but Vertonghen was clearly better. But no, Ajax were only interested in always picking Vermaelen. And then eventually when Vermaelen left, that's when Vertonghen finally got a season at centre-half. And then Spurs were like, yeah, we'll take him.
Yeah.
And suddenly you're like, oh, Spurs might have got the better of that deal.
They definitely did anyway. But Vermaelen in his day was good, but
he did have a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
Right, so we've pretty much covered everything. We'll talk about the World Cup. Is there anything on the World Cup as a whole that you liked, you hated?
I liked the World Cup as a whole. Anyway,
it was a brilliant tournament.
It was a great tournament.
I know I've said that the final was a little bit of a disappointment.
Yeah.
But you know there was a lot of goals. There was still plenty of excitement. There was mistakes. There was controversy. At least it wasn't like a boring 1-0 shut up shop style game. At least we got what you might call entertainment, depending on how weird you are. And it was such a great World Cup. It's just been
it's been fantastic. There's been goal after goal. There was only 1-0 in the tournament out of 64 games. 1-0.
Yeah, thanks France.
Yeah,
and Denmark.
Yeah, but France still won it, so they've got the last laugh. But yeah, a lot of goals. Obviously, that could be seen as being down to VAR awarding penalties. A lot of set piece goal because the players are afraid to.
Well, funny enough, the suggestion about the set piece goals is if when you're playing with a team, you have a lot of time together to work on attacking style, attacking strategies, and work on your your structures for your attack.
Yeah.
When you're coming together for a national team, you have very little time, but there's one thing you can work on: set pieces. And you know it doesn't matter how they go in, so long as they go in.
Yeah, a goal's a goal.
Yeah.
Even if it's Mandzukic's goal against Lloris.
God, that was hilarious.
I know.
I would be tempted to vote that to the goal.
I'm not gonna lie. I was out the night before. I kind of fell asleep, and then everyone was just like, "What's the keeper doing?" And the goal and the ball's in the net, and I was like, "How the fuck that happened?" I literally just dozed off for a second. Wasn't the funniest moment of the World Cup. I've said it on the pod before. The funniest moment is Batshuayi getting hit in the face by the ball, and it's not like someone kicked him.
Lloris tried to catch up with Batshuayi, but no, Batshuayi.
And he'll laugh at the matter himself, which makes it all the funnier.
Been a great tournament, and
are you crying?
I've got something in my eye. Okay,
that's all right.
It's allergies.
Hold on, I'm going to get the Kleenexes here. But yeah,
why do you have Kleenexes? That's weird. This is
for moments like this.
This is a professional outfit.
Yeah, and sometimes people get emotional. You did say it was the post World Cup hangover. Sometimes I like to cry when I've got a hangover, so that's why I have the Kleenex.
All right, so we've talked about it now. If I talk about it anymore, I don't know what this is going to sound like. So let's just switch over to some news. Big news today coming out of the transfer rumour pages, and that is that Gary Cahill might be going to Man United.
Yeah, please not. We've been linked with Toby Alderweireld. We need a centre half. I feel
we've been linked with Harry Maguire.
Harry Maguire. To be honest, I would take Harry Maguire over Gary Cahill. Gary Cahill's got experience, but I don't want him at United. I really don't.
Is there a bit of a fire sale going on at Chelsea? Because Cahill's looks like he's going out. I think Luis and maybe Fabregas are going out. Obviously, the manager's gone. Hazard and Courtois look like they're going.
Yeah, to be fair, Ronaldo going to Juventus, I don't think Real Madrid would have done that unless they've got something up their sleeve. Be it Neymar, be it Hazard. Neymar is going to take a lot of money, a lot of firepower to get him. But I do
Mbappe too.
Mbappe.
Probably even more than Neymar.
Yeah, especially with the whole uncertainty, considering he's technically only on loan.
I think they made that permanent on the 1st of July. I think they exercised their option to buy it.
Yeah, well,
around the time that UEFA said that they didn't think they'd done anything wrong by financial.
Yeah, Jesus Christ! You see teams
UEFA, are you serious?
Yeah.
But apparently someone else has decided to reopen it and look into it. Some other ethics committee is looking into the investigation. So I think a UEFA ethics committee is looking into UEFA's own investigation of PSG. This is the kind of nonsense.
Inception.
This is the kind of nonsense that goes on with this. I remember when FIFA were looking into the bribery scandal with as it goes to giving Qatar the World Cup, and FIFA investigated themselves and found no corruption. Good lads.
Oh.
It's like when my boss comes, it's like, how much work have you been doing? I've been doing so much work.
No investigations into that.
Do you want me to check how much work I'm doing? I'm checking here. So much work. You should give me more money. This it's such nonsense that, and UEFA is seemingly doing the same thing where they've had a committee look into their own decision about financial fair play, which is
financial fair play is a myth. It gets used sometimes, but for the big teams, it's
financial fair play is nonsense.
Yeah.
Right. So I'll give you a couple of reasons why. If you say that you can only spend what you bring in revenue, that means that Barcelona, Man United, Real Madrid, even say Liverpool have managed to boost their revenue, can outspend everyone.
Yeah.
They can outspend everyone.
Yeah.
And, a team like Bolton have a revenue much smaller. Yeah. Even with the big TV money that's going to the Championship, or I don't know if Bolton dropped down, but
I think they might have. I'm not 100% sure myself. But
it doesn't matter. The point is, if you want to, if you take over a team and you want to inject your own money into a team, you can't because of it's
the club has to make the money in for you to spend the money basically.
And you can't just if you really love, say you're from the area, say now, right, if I became a billionaire and then I wanted to buy Finn Harps and make Finn Harps the best team in Ireland, according to financial fair play, I can't do that because Finn Harps aren't making the money themselves.
Yeah.
Well, that's just stupid. That's just not how it works. That's just completely it's just not it's not feasible. And funny enough, Man City got fined by financial fair play. Then they appealed it.
Yeah.
And they took it away again. So and here's the funny thing is, one of the reasons that financial fair play looked into Man City is because Man City play at the Etihad Stadium.
Yeah.
The Etihad Stadium is got a huge amount of money paid into it by Etihad for the naming rights. But it's my understanding that the money that Etihad put into it came from the brother of the guy who owns Manchester City. Mm-hmm. So it's basically the family money, which they all use. It's one big family that runs that club, and they put their own money into naming the stadium so they could say it was sponsorship money. So
exactly.
So now
even though it's them.
So now it's revenue, and they're it's a loophole for getting around it. That's the other reason why financial fair play is complete nonsense. If you can do that,
so many loopholes around it.
So it's just it's a nonsense idea to begin with, and it's a way to protect big clubs. And it seems that it's almost like big clubs, when they vote on things, will always vote to protect themselves.
Mm.
And it's not nice, but the big clubs in England have been started this process of trying to get the TV money split more evenly, so that the teams that are on TV all the time, Liverpool, Man United, get more money from the TV money. The Premier League have held strong and said no, it's a split. So the teams that finish highest get X amount of TV money, and the rest of it is sort of split evenly. So, there is some merit to it, but then kind of what the big clubs who are always on TV want. They expect more money because they're always on TV, and they're the ones that drive it. At the same time, I don't like that because obviously it creates a bigger gap between the top and the bottom.
Yeah.
So now that I've gone off on my little rant,
well, what was that about? Because the Chelsea was imploding. They're selling everyone.
Yeah, Chelsea's interesting. I've brought this up a few times. So Roman Abramovich has something like 500 million to spend on a stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Then he pulls out of it and says it's about the visa issue, where he doesn't want to invest in a city where he's not allowed to go and work. So he doesn't want to invest in Chelsea.
Yeah.
But the way when he says that he doesn't want to invest in the city anymore, he needs to invest for Chelsea to buy players.
Yeah.
Because Chelsea don't have a giant revenue like Man United. Like Man United have I said this the other day, was it to Will, that if you went into the executive office in Man United and searched the back of the couch, you could probably come out with 100 million, like in spare change, and
just on the side of a couch.
Just go buy it. Like they have an unholy amount of money coming in, and
just sponsorships, everything.
Yes, sponsorships, everything. Rolex sponsors added on time. Do you know that?
Yeah. So we've got I hate sleeve sponsors. Yeah. We're sponsored now by an American bathroom giant called Kohler or something like that. But it's just soon enough we'll have shorts.
The players will be wearing gloves, and the sponsorships will be on the gloves.
Yeah, probably be like Everlast or something like that.
Yeah, so Everlast.
Have you seen the United kit?
I've seen it in some of it.
It's a fucking glorified training kit.
Do you know what? I don't worry about the kits. I don't really look like. I'll see enough of them over the course of the season.
Yeah.
We've got loads of games to watch, and. Speaking, just continue with Chelsea. So Abramovich is, because of the supposed visa issues he's having, he's pulled out of the stadium. Chelsea took a really long time to sort out their manager problem, so much so that Conte was back taking pre-season.
Yeah.
Even though everyone knew he was about to get out. And Sarri, like so much so that Napoli announced who their new manager was going to be before they even let go of Sarri. Like, so Chelsea had to buy Sarri out of his contract and then buy Conte out of his contract. And the reason it took that long because they needed to find the money to do it.
They've spent so much money on settling with their managers, it's unbelievable.
The problem I think they have is no Champions League this season. Mm-hmm. They have their best players, Courtois and Hazard, want to go.
Yeah.
They want to go to Real Madrid. Their manager has just arrived, and there's no guarantee that Sarri is going to do well at Chelsea, because he's not a manager that likes to buy his own players. He's very much a guy who sits back and lets the sporting director do the job. Like I think he only requested 2 players at Napoli, and that was 2 players that he just liked to be brought in from the previous club he was at. And he's brought in. He's continued that trend, bringing in Jorginho. He's brought in Jorginho, and there's chat that he might go after one more from Italy, but at the same time, like that, he doesn't go out scouting lots of players. He doesn't have a big list in his head of players he wants. Kind of leaves that up. The thing is, I don't think Chelsea have a sporting director, because their sporting director quit because they wanted to bring Mourinho back, whatever it was, 2 or 3 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. They actually decided to get rid of their sporting director. Well, he voluntarily stepped down so that Mourinho could come in, and because Mourinho wanted that role as well as the manager role. So then Mourinho left and Conte came in. I don't think anyone filled it. Now, someone in there was obviously doing the transfers when Conte was there, but they were doing it without Conte's knowledge. And so Sarri might have the same idea as Conte, which is where you let the sporting director do the work, like would happen at Juventus, say, and you just manage what you've got. But of course, what Conte found is that the first thing they did was sell Matic, and he was like, what the hell? Oh, I know. They didn't just sell him; they sold him to Man United, your direct rival. I think that was selling Matic was the beginning of the end for Conte. I know he didn't leave for another season after, but there was talk of unrest. It was just. I'm sure he was absolutely raging, and as soon as you realise there's conflict between the board and the manager, the players know it. Yeah, the players can smell it. They know it's coming. But so Chelsea had an up and down season. They had some good results, bad results, but I think they haven't done a lot in this transfer market. They've obviously spent a lot of money on Jorginho. Yeah. And one of the ways that Chelsea generate a lot of money is through sales of their young players. Who have they sold this year that would generate a lot of money? I can't think. I know. In fact, a lot of what's happened now is that the young players give you an example of Dom Solanke at Liverpool, and there's another midfielder I can't remember his name, is also gone to Liverpool. What they're doing is they're running their contracts down. Some players like Van Ginkel seem intent on staying in Chelsea's loan system forever, and they keep coming back from loans, signing new contracts and moving on out. Now I'm guessing the reason they sign new contracts is because Chelsea's paying them
while they're on loan,
well enough while they're on loan, a little top up, and they're happy enough with that. But some players are leaving on freeze because they don't want to be in that giant system. They think that they think they can get a better deal somewhere else. You know, like, so even the Liverpool teenager Rhian Brewster, I think, was originally at Chelsea, and he left when he was like 15. He was just like, I'm not staying on this, and he headed up to Liverpool as well, and he's one of the best young players coming through in Liverpool, and just signed a new long-term professional deal.
Has he played in pre-season yet?
He's actually been injured, but they said he's due back maybe by the end of the year. But he was when England won the under-17s World Cup, he was the top scorer.
Yeah.
So like,
I've heard of him. Yeah, he seems a good prospect.
I think there are issues at Chelsea, and it all comes back to the owner is maybe not as involved as he was.
Yeah.
I think he doesn't want to spend money. The reason they have that loan system is because he doesn't want to put money in because he gets nothing out of it. Mm-hmm. Like, all the money he put in, they're not really generating the massive revenue Man United is, so he's not making loads of money.
Yeah.
So then when he's like, okay, so now we're going to build a big stadium because that'll generate revenue. Well, now he's not going to do that either.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, is Abramovich thinking for the first time since he came in and sort of threw the transfer market and the way things are done in England into chaos 10, 12 years ago now?
Yeah, it's a long time since he arrived at Chelsea now.
Is he actually possibly no longer interested in making Chelsea competitive? I don't know. They could turn around tomorrow and spend 200 million on players and suddenly become a force again, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen.
Yeah. One thing about this transfer window is the fact that the early deadline finish. The next few weeks could be very exciting. As you said, they could spend 200 million tomorrow. I do hope that there is a lot of transfer action, because the thing is, transfer window.
Give us something to talk about before the season starts. Now that there's no football.
No, I know, but it's only 3 weeks. It's only 3 weeks. We'll get there, but the 3 weeks at least, it's hopefully going to be full of transfers. Hopefully, this transfer deadline day is going to be good. It's not going to be like the Jim White shouting, "We've got a deal in the window" or something like that. But yeah, sorry about that impression. It's a bad. I don't like the transfer deadline days.
I don't even bother with Sky. You know what? I was kind of shocked because actually we just talk about. You mentioned Sky. I was quite shocked to discover that Sky were on the ball with the Alisson deal ahead of people like James Pearce and
the usual
Melissa Reddy and Paul Joyce. Although maybe they were just waiting for some confirmation. Sky Italy were reporting it. Sky Sports here picked it up. And they had it like about an hour or so before any of the usual suspects, but I normally don't trust anything that comes out of Sky.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, Sky Italy, they've got DiMarzio and Romano. They're two ones that I always looked at. Anytime I see something like that's near a done deal.
Was DiMarzio that was the one who think did the Alisson story. So Alisson looks like he's on his way. World record fee, 67 million sterling.
Yeah, it's a lot for a goalkeeper, but I think after what happened in the Champions League final, sorry for bringing it up.
It's fine.
But they do need a good goalkeeper, because the two keepers they have, Mignolet and Karius, they're two liabilities.
They're okay, but they're a bit like what I say about Dejan Lovren. I tell everybody Dejan Lovren's an 80-20 player. 80% of the time he's a perfectly good centre half.
Yeah.
20% of the time he is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Although actually, funny enough, Jurgen Klopp actually said in an interview that he thought himself as 90% of the time as a good defender, and then like 10% of the time, when you consider the amount of games he played, 10% is such a small margin. And then he says it's like 95% perfect, and then 5% he sometimes makes a mistake through overcommitting or whatever. And I was kind of going, well, you're being generous, Klopp. I think it's 80-20. You think it's 95-5, but so it's clearly he thinks the same way I do. But yeah, it's because me and Klopp are awesome. Yeah. But so the thing about those goalkeepers is they're perfectly good goalkeepers 60% of it.
Yeah.
And that's not enough.
That's not enough, especially with the players Liverpool have, Salah, Mane, just the front three. They want a challenge for the league, and you can't have. I'm really impressed with Liverpool's reinforcements this year, and Keita, Fabinho, and it's not over. There's still talk of Fekir being rekindled, but I don't know.
I've seen a few people questioning where Liverpool's getting all the money from, and as well as the fact that obviously there's huge TV money. Liverpool's owners are, I always refer to them as the stockbroker owners.
Yeah.
So that's not quite what they are. They're like hedge fund managers. It's not quite the same thing, but they're very good at speculating to accumulate. Where they speculate, they put money into something, expecting it to go up and then selling it. And they've done that with Liverpool. They first tried the Moneyball approach, but then they tried a slightly different approach, which is suck as much money out of every transfer that you sell.
Yeah.
So every player you sell, you get as much money as you can, and you get a massive profit. So they did it first with Suarez. Did it with Coutinho. You know, it's
yeah, the Coutinho,
even Torres, like 50 million for Torres was pretty good money.
Yeah, he's cashed out and that at the right time, most definitely.
So what they've done now is they've even when they haven't been able to sell one massive player, they've actually had, like, they were in profit for the first 2 years through selling lots of their sort of second string players, like getting 15 million for Jordan Ibe.
Yeah,
he's very much a backup player, and you know they got a lot of money. They obviously got a lot of money for Sterling. Like they made sure Man City paid them the 50 million, and they got the Coutinho money. They got like 130 out of the 140 up front.
Yeah,
like they that was the big holding up, I think, with the Coutinho deal, is they were prepared to sell him once Barcelona said that they would give most of the money up front. And they were like, no, look, it's not happening. And Barcelona were saying, we'll give you 80 million now, 20 million if we do this, 20 million if we do this, 20 million. And Liverpool were like, no, you will give us huge amount of money and the majority of it up front. And the funny thing is last summer people think Liverpool spent a lot of money. They didn't. They bought Solanke on a free. Like they might have had to pay like 8 million to Chelsea, and
Robertson was a bargain.
Robertson was 8 million, but the funny thing is they bought Robertson from 8 million and sold another player to Hull for 8 million. They basically swapped
free transfer.
They swapped him. They swapped him for a midfielder they didn't want. So there you go. So that was what they did. They obviously paid 35 million for Salah.
Bargain.
Worth everybody.
Bargain.
Right. They had 100, according to from the people who know a bit about this, Liverpool had somewhere of around 150 million that they'd stockpiled through sales, better, bringing in more money, and just like a small injection from the owners. They had reduced the amount of debt. Like the owners have pretty much eliminated Liverpool's debt and have been pumping up the revenue, much like Man United. Sponsors fucking everything.
Yeah.
You know, every sponsor gets a short-term contract. Shirt sponsor gets a 3-year contract, and if you aren't able to like add another 10 million a year onto that, you don't get a new contract. They'll move to someone else, and obviously the TV money is going up. So last summer Liverpool had something like 100 to 150 million to spend on transfers, and the only money they actually spent was buying Salah for 35.
Yeah. Because
the two other players that they wanted were Keita and Van Dijk, and they got neither of them.
Yeah. But they eventually got them.
They got Keita, but with the provision that he wouldn't arrive for a year.
Yeah.
That was 50 million. They spent more than they expected to on Van Dijk, 75, but they didn't spend that to January. Yeah. So say that 100 million, 150 million was spent up as far as January. They then got 142 pumped back into them.
Yeah.
Like they've already got the players they want. They don't need the money now. But now suddenly they've got 142 million from Barcelona for Coutinho. They go on the season without Coutinho, get to the Champions League final. They have all the Champions League money and 142 million sitting in the bank this summer. And I'd say Klopp isn't a guy who normally likes to buy really expensive players. But I'd say, you know, and he even backed Karius in an interview at the start of the summer, and then Karius dropped the fucking clanger
against
Tranmere. But I think what happened is that the story started to come around. Like Liverpool were interested. Roma were demanding 80 million sterling, like 100 million euros, something like that.
They didn't want to make the same mistake they made with Salah, I don't think, anyway.
No, they think they got their pants pulled down over the Salah deal. They looked at All Black. All Black was too expensive. Then they looked at some of the English keepers, and the thing about English keepers, you just don't know. You just don't know. You could buy Jack Butland for 30 million, but he could turn into Mignolet Karius again. There's a chance that he could be as bad as them.
I wonder where
what they think is they go, okay, so we've got Alisson, Alisson's probably going to Real Madrid because Real Madrid want him.
Mm-hmm.
But again, Roma want an incredible amount of money.
Yeah.
Courtois says he wants to leave Chelsea. He's only got a year left in his contract. Real Madrid look at Courtois and go, okay, 35 million for Courtois is great money.
Yeah. Suddenly
Roma have to drop their price because, you know, they said they were prepared to sell him for the right price, so the player knows that they don't want to keep him if money's the issue.
Yeah.
And suddenly Liverpool come back in and go, about that 80 million, here's 60. You know, like, and it was kind of the thing, like Liverpool were going to go, no, we'll wait for another keeper because Alisson's too expensive. Suddenly Real Madrid step out of the picture. Chelsea were supposedly interested because the Courtois might be going, but Chelsea might not have just had enough money because they were already buying Jorginho. And also they might not want him. That might just be Roma saying that. So I think Liverpool, like I said, Liverpool did have this big kitty from the Coutinho money.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously they spent some on Fabinho, spent some on Shaqiri.
Yeah.
And they were kind of sitting there. I honestly think they just suddenly decided, well, Roma have dropped their price for Alisson.
Yeah.
Fuck it. They just went, fuck it. Like this is the season, put up or shut up season. They might as well do it.
It'll be a good backbone as well. If he signs Alisson, Van Dijk, Keita, Fabinho if he's holding, and Firmino up just
right
that's just down the middle, and the wingers and the fullbacks are still young, but they're
I think Klopp's seriously worried about players coming back from the World Cup too. He's lucky that Mane, Firmino, and Salah all got through the World Cup unscraped. Like Salah left early, Mane left a little bit early, and Firmino barely got to play for Brazil. Yeah. Thanks, Brazil. Yeah. Thanks for minding him. And then so those guys are going on holiday, but there's always a risk that when they come back from a World Cup, they're going to come back injured from overtraining, overwork. So he's going to need to bring them in slowly. So obviously he's brought in Shaqiri, who was also at the World Cup. So now he needs to rely on the guys he's had out on loan, like Origi and Sturridge are both back, and they look currently like they might not go. Like they said, they'll sell Danny Ings, but they're going to hold on to the other two. They might need those two to hit the ground running, and I think this is why they splashed the money on a goalkeeper, because they've thought we need to change in that we need to be ruthless, and we also need to not concede stupid goals.
Yeah.
Because last season we could outscore teams. We'll outscore certain teams. You know, win loads of games 4-1 and 5-1. But if we can't do that this season, if the front three aren't always fit, then we need to win games 1-0. We need to win games 2-0. And to do that, you need a goalkeeper.
Yeah, you need a solid back.
So
you need if that last line of defence has been breached, at least you can depend on a goalkeeper to possibly save you. And they haven't had that in recent times.
Well, like I said, it's put up or shut up time for them, and they've clearly gone all out. Yeah. And they've you know, like I said, they've been building towards this, and now they've just gone. I don't see them doing this every year, but they just decided they had a chance to go for Alisson.
Yeah.
And that they know that maybe their front three might take time to get going this year because of the World Cup.
Yeah.
Klopp is a big man in pre-season, and most of those players at the World Cup aren't available for pre-season.
Yeah.
That'll annoy him. So he'll be like I really need to make sure that my defence and my midfield is solid.
Yeah.
And I need my goalkeeper to be better because he can't be conceding stupid goals this year.
Heavy metal football is going to have to take a seat back for a minute, maybe.
It might, like it, and it's you know, I think Klopp is getting more pragmatic the longer he stays in England because he understands that pragmatism is sometimes good. Like he only has to look at the games he lost to Chelsea and Man United, teams that sat back against them, and he's got to go like, look, we're gonna have to maybe change a little bit. But the Klopp is the kind of guy, he changes slowly. He doesn't just go, right, let's throw everything out, because he thinks if you throw everything out and change everything 1 week to the next, the players just think you've lost it. You know what you're doing. So he thinks, okay, we'll slowly adjust it.
Yeah.
All right. So that's my massive long rant about Liverpool and money and
well,
detailed descriptions.
Put it this way, at least you've got transfer news to talk about, because at the minute for United it's just all rumours. There's nothing set in stone. We've signed Fred, which could be, as people are describing it, the key to unlock Pogba, even though
it's not.
Yeah,
it's not. And like I told you already, Pogba plays perfectly fine when he's playing for Man United. It's Man United don't play well.
Yeah.
If Fred is not the same as Kante and Fred is not quite the same as say Fernandinho. Some people think he's quite like Fernandinho, but look, you have Matic and say Fred in beside him. Fine, those two guys can do a lot of the covering for him. But I think until your manager embraces what Pogba can do for you on the ball, then I don't know if he's going to play well for Man United. Maybe he will. Maybe he'll have an amazing season. But at the same time, the manager needs to embrace what he does, as opposed to saying, "Well, no, we're gonna be rigid. We're gonna be solid, but we're not gonna play football.
Yeah,
we're just gonna log it up." And you know what? If Mourinho was watching the World Cup and saw how well Lukaku played as almost a playmaker, like making things happen, intelligent runs, you kind of going, you don't need to use him as a battering ram. You can use him you can use him moving around more. You can make teams move around. You can play a kind of more expansive game plan. But I don't know if he will. Mourinho normally only lasts 3 years in the job, and this is his third year.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen there?
Well, let's see what happens in the next few weeks with terms of transfers. But the transfers might not come to fruition. The style of football needs to change anyway. That's a given.
Or at the very least, like some kind of more obvious attacking structure, because it seems to be we'll just rely on what we have. That's why, for me, I never understood why Man United were even interested in Alexis Sanchez.
He's there now, so
what role is he meant to be playing? Yeah. Like when you watch him, do you kind of go like, what's going on here?
Yeah, sometimes it's like that. He's an auxiliary fullback at times.
Like when you watch Man City, you think this looks like chaos sometimes when they're going forward, but then when you see them do the same thing over and over again, you think, well, that's clearly planned. Like, it's not chaos. The players aren't running there for no reason. Obviously, they have fantastic players, but there's clearly a plan to when they're attacking. But when you watch Man United, it's kind of very much like, well, we've got really expensive attackers.
Yeah, you
guys do what you want. And like we'll make sure we don't concede many at the other end. But I just don't think that works anymore. And like, this is just me speaking, sitting in a chair in Letterkenny. What do I know? Armchair pundit here, but that's just my kind of my 2 cents.
Hopefully Jose pulls the finger out. We do all right to sum it up. But
I'm going to preview something now. I've been planning for you and Will when Will gets back.
Yeah.
Transfer deadline day. Either on transfer deadline day or the day after transfer deadline day, I'm going to get you and Will together, and you guys get to preview Man United signings, say whether it's good or bad, and what you think is going to happen for the season. Can you see if Mourinho has a plan in his head with his signings?
Yeah.
Or is he doing the same things he always does? Like I said, the Klopp signed the goalkeeper, I think, and buying a guy like Shaqiri who could score goals against crap teams.
And he's a squad player. It takes away the reliance on the front three.
And also he's bulked up the midfield physically.
Yeah.
I think he's thinking, I need to be stronger and stop conceding shit goals against shit teams.
Yeah.
A lot of draws hurt Liverpool last year. A lot of draws, and he doesn't want that to happen, and that's why he's done that. He's going to be a little bit more pragmatic.
Yeah.
I'm going to get together with James.
Yeah.
So me and him are going to do a Liverpool preview after the transfer window closes. I'm going to get you and Will to do one. So as the transfer window closes August 8th?
8th or 9th? I think the 9th might be the first day, or the 8th or 9th.
The 9th is the Friday, because the first game's a Saturday, right? The 11th. So we're going to have to get it in around the 10th, say, but this is because I really want to know what you guys are really, really thinking.
Yeah. Take
as long as you want. I will record the whole thing with my headphones on, not caring about my
I just something could happen in the next few weeks. This is the thing, having a World Cup and having an early deadline. A lot can happen in these 2 or 3 weeks, because you haven't been able to get business done with players out in Russia trying to win the World Cup for the country, but
forcing people's hand.
Yeah, I think they probably should have done it last year, or at least sampled it. Or sorry, they should have tried it next year or sampled it last year. I don't think this was the best time to trial it, to be honest.
Yeah, all right. So I think we've talked about as much as we can talk about today. We'll have some more stuff in the works. Anyone wants to contact us, it's at PodsPQ on Twitter.
Yeah.
PodsPQ, hopefully they're pumping out a few more pods like this in the next few weeks. We might finally get our UFC one off the ground. We might finally get our WWE one off the ground. But it's it's all on the long finger, as they say around here.
Yeah.
All right, Daire, thanks for stepping in for Will.
No worries. Watch the space, guys.
It's been good. All right, we're out.